Howdy, folks, and welcome to another day in the Milky Way. Tonight we got a great show for you. We're going to be talking about the myth of Hercules, myth or legend, the son of Zeus. Zeus is known to have a lot of ones. And this is by special request because somebody requested that we do with Hercules. And I don't remember who it was, but somebody said, so here we are. We're going to round about this week on myths and legends of these mythical guys of old, superheroes in the day. These were like the comic book heroes of 1,000 years ago, and they live on today. Let's see, where are we going to go with this? But anyway, I have plenty of slides and stuff for you, but we're going to be tuning in and reading out a complete guide for idiots on classical mythology. And this is where I'm getting this from. Of course, I do have other things that we're going to present. And as always, coming at you with lots of stuff to share. And so you can see this. The birth of Hercules in Greek mythology. But first, I want to say thank you all for coming. I'm glad to have you all here watching and learning. That's what we're here to do. We're learning about these Greek gods. Why? Because it's important. Because they are the superheroes of yesteryear. These were the guys of like Iron Man and Thor and the Flash and Batman and Robin and Superman and whatever. And they're all put here for us to enjoy. Now, back in the day, there was a lot of myth behind it, and they could relate a story that had meaning, and maybe you would change your life a little bit. Maybe you would make different decisions or learn from Hercules or strive to be more like Hercules, because he was born of a mortal woman, and his father was Zeus. Let's find out about the birth. And here it says Hercules, as he is known, is the most famous of all Greek heroes, and his legendary labors and many other adventures in Greek mythology. There is also some famous story about the birth of Hercules, and indeed it is a story that is a creation story for the Milky Way. Hey, Milky Way Soul Tribe. Hercules the preceded. Hercules was born into a family line of another famous Greek hero, Perseus, the slayer of Medusa. We just read Perseus. Perseus would wed Andromeda, and the Athenian princess he had rescued from the sea monster. And Perseus would subsequently found the city of Mycenae, where he was the first king. Perseus and Andromeda would become parents to 7 sons: Perseus, Electron, and it goes on. Her and 2 daughters. Anyway, I ain't even going to name them because it's just too hard to pronounce. And you can go look this up for yourself. Anyway, we're going to move on. And we'll give you some better picture to look at. And there's Hercules. Fighting. He's just tough. Fighting these guys that look like horses. Anyway, there he is again. I'll get the bad parts out of there. Anyway, let's read what it says in the book. He was the son of Zeus, an immortal woman, Alchemy, the daughter of King Electron and of Argos, and married her cousin Amphitryon. I can never pronounce those words right. Sorry, everybody. If you want to know how to pronounce them, or you know how to pronounce them better than me, you just come right on and pronounce those words, and I will stick to it. How about that? Anyway, Alcmene fled to Thebes with her husband. She refused, however, to share his bed until he had avenged the murder of her 8 brothers by pirates. Oh boy, a pirate story. Gladly. Oh, so Amphitryon gladly did so. But as Amphitryon journeyed homeward after his victory, Zeus impersonated him, told Alchemy in great detail how he had avenged their brother and took her to bed. Of course, that's what all they always do. Zeus, the sun god Helios, unharnessed his chariot for a day. Only one day. One night stand, people. A one night stand. Go figure. Okay. So, anyway, you only hear it here. That's what I'm saying. We're winging it off the cuff. He had avenged her brothers, and okay. Unharnessed his chariot for a day, so the world remained dark and an extra 24 hours. And Zeus romanced Alcmene for a length of 36 hours. Women, did you hear that? Zeus, 36 hours. He wasn't no 10-minute man or 2-minute man. He was a 36-hour man. Now, take it what you will, but probably had to get up and have a cup of coffee to keep himself going. When Anthemiron arrived home and following the evening, his wife's lack of ardor disappointed him. Alcmene, for her part, grew impatient at hearing her husband's recount of the same stories he had told her the night before. Puzzled, Anthemiron consulted the blind seer, Thesaurus, who told him what happened. Since Alcmene had been deceived by Zeus, Anthemiron quickly forgave her with her unwritten adultery. Indeed, after his first night home, Anthemiron, fearful of inciting Zeus to jealousy, never slept with his wife again. Wow. Well, she just got a one-night stand, and that was it for life. There's Hercules. The labors of alchemy. Before Hercules was born, Zeus boasted on Olympus that the son of his blood would be born that day who ruled over the house of Perseus. That the always jealous Hera, who knew of her husband's thirst and alchemy, made Zeus swear to his boast. Thwarting Zeus's plans, Hera arranged with Electrina, the goddess of childbirth, to delay Alcmene's delivery. Althenia sat outside Alcmene's bedroom with her legs and fingers tightly crossed and her clothing tied into knots, a charm that effectively blocked the delivery. Meanwhile, Hera hastened the labor of Nicippe, the wife of King Cerathenius, who had driven his nephew Anthemiron from Argos. As the grandson of Perseus, this premature child, Euthasius, was indeed a son of Zeus's blood. Reluctantly, Zeus kept his vow to make the child the ruler of Argos, Thyrians, and Messenia. Zeus then enlisted the aid of Athenia to trick Hera into suckling the infant Hercules. Athenia found the infant Hercules outside the walls of Thebes, where Alcmene had abandoned him in fear of Hera's jealousy. Athenia showed the child to Hera and urged the goddess to pity the beautiful child so cruelly neglected. Without thinking, he was even on money. Look at that. Without thinking, Hera bared her breast to the baby, but Hercules suckled with such force that she tore him from her breast. The milk that spurted across the sky became the Milky Way. Oh, I love those tall tales. The suckling of the infant Hercules apparently awoke none of Hera's maternal instincts. She would remain, for the rest of Hercules' life, a hostile stepmother. Still jealous of Alcmene, the goddess sent 2 poisonous serpents with flaming eyes to destroy both Hercules and his half-brother, Epicurus. Yet the mighty infant seized one in each hand and easily strangled the serpents. Wow. Let's see if we got a picture of that somewhere. Nope, 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 nope. There's a lot of pictures of Hercules, I tell you. He was badass, I tell you. But anyway, okay. He was drawn on pottery, made in coins. He did everything. This guy he was tough. Let's go back to that one. Okay, Zeus had in mind to rear a son who would have the strength and skills to become not only a hero among men, but an ally and an agent of the gods as well. So the god arranged for Hercules to receive training in the skills of warfare and finer arts from some of the best teachers on earth. As a young man, Hercules mastered the teaching of Amphitryon, his foster father, who taught him how to drive a chariot. Autochilius, the notorious thief, who taught him boxing. Castor, a renowned horseman, who tutored Hercules not only in combat strategy and cavalry tactics, but the art of fencing as well. Chimaeron, perhaps the most also only centaur, half human and half horse. Yeah, it's a centaur. Who had the reputation of tenderness, refinement, and wisdom, who taught him manners, decorum, and other polite arts. Epalumenus, founder of the Euthylian mysteries, who schooled the young hero in both singing and playing the lyre. Ethereus, a renowned bowman, who taught him archery. And Linus, son of Emesialus, a river god, who introduced him to literature. Linus also had the ill fate to substitute for Aethiopius in teaching Hercules the lyre. The two tutors differed in teaching methods. However, when Hercules refused to heed his substitute instructions, Linus made the mistake of striking his formidable student. Enraged, Hercules smashed his lyre over Linus's head, killing him with a single blow. Well, you wouldn't want to get him angry. In his trial for murder, Hercules argued that he had merely responded in kind to his tutor's violence and won acquittal. Yet Amphitryon, fearful for further incidents of violence, sent the young man to finish his training at a cattle farm in the country. Yeah, that's where they ship all those kids. Hercules learned his lesson well. He soon became the best archer who ever lived and rarely missed the mark. When throwing a spear, too, he received the best training available. Hercules was outfitted for warfare by half a dozen Olympian benefactors. So Zeus, his father, offered an unbreakable shield forged by Hephaestus, the god of fire and patron of blacksmiths and artisans. Let's see if we can find a picture of this. No, that ain't one of them. That ain't one of them. Does he have? No. He's got a club. Oh, there's the one. There he's with the baby with the snakes. He's a baby, and he's killing the snakes. Oh, well, this one's a good one. Okay. So, he got Athena provided a helmet and a coat of arms. Apollo gave him a bow and a quiver of eagle-feathered arrows. Hermes presented him with a sword. Maybe this is the sword he has. Hephaestus provided a golden breastplate and brass buckskins. Protective footwear. Poseidon, the creator of hero or horses, entrusted him with a magnificent team of horses. Okay. Divinely equipped and fully trained, Hercules was now ready to become the greatest hero of the ancient world. Yet the road to immortality would prove long and arduous. Marriage, madness, and murder. Though Hercules had not accomplished much, King Thippius and Thebia immediately recognized the young hero's potential. With an eye toward the future of his dynasty, he resolved that each of his 50 daughters would have a child by Hercules. In a single night, Hercules impregnated 49 of the 50 daughters, and with 51 sons. The eldest and the youngest daughter and were twins. The daughter refused to take part in the marathon of lovemaking, and she remained a virgin throughout her life, serving as a priestess in a temple of Hercules at Thespiae. Many Greeks considered the feat of procreation, the 13th labor of Hercules, as formidable in its way as the 12 labors that followed it. Well, there you go. Hercules wasn't just a guy, he was a handsome hunk that could father lots of sons and daughters, and he could go all night too, apparently. Geez, 51 made 51 kids. 49 of the 50 daughters, 49, wow, in one night. 49. 49. Guys, just tell yourself, no way. 49? Holy cow. Listen, it's just funny. Anyway, after attending to the daughters of Theseus, Hercules headed home to Thebes. Along the way, he met a group of Maenards, the noble clan that ruled the city of Octumenius, and at the time Thebes as well. Several years earlier, Theban had accidentally killed the king of Ochramius. In retaliation, the Minians had forced Thebes to pay an annual tribute of 100 cattle. Minians, on their way to collect the tribute, scoffed that the Thebans were lucky that Egranius, king of the Archomenians, had not cut off all their ears and noses and hands in punishment. Hercules immediately chopped off the messenger's ears, nose, and hands, hung these severed parts around their necks, and sent them back to Erigenius. Knowing Erigenius would retaliate, Hercules quickly gathered together an army of Thebans. Led by Hercules, this army not only successfully defeated Thebes and repelled the Minions, but also killed Egranius and captured the city of Ochramius. Cineron, king of Thebes, rewarded Hercules for his heroism by offering him his eldest daughter, Mengrana. But Hera's hostility towards Hercules not waned. She would not allow him to have a happy life. The goddess drove Hercules temporarily mad. Those gods love to drive you mad. And he killed his children and perhaps Mengra as well, thinking they were either wild beasts or enemies in Thebes. Well, there you go. Now he doesn't have any kids and he doesn't have a wife. And Hercules is strong. You just can't get rid of him. There he is, probably killing his wife, throwing her or something. Anyway, the labors of Hercules. Okay, so when his sanity returned, Hercules exiled himself from Thebes for his crime. He traveled to Delphi to ask the oracle how best to atone for his crime. Phthia, the priestess of the oracle, instructed Hercules to go to Tyrannus and perform any 10 labors devised for him by King Eurystheus. This number would grow to 12 when Eurystheus later nitpicked about whether Hercules had truly accomplished 2 of the labors assigned to him. By successfully completing these labors, Hercules would not only pay for his crime, but also achieve immortality and take his place among the gods. Reluctantly, Hercules agreed to submit to the will of the hated Theseus, to whom Hera had given the throne that Zeus had intended for Hercules. And this is where it gets interesting. The 12 labors of Hercules. Beastly chores. The first 4 labors. When Hercules reported to Theseus of Tyrannus, the king assigned him his first labor, the killing of the Nemenian lion. This beast would provide a great challenge for the young hero because the invulnerable skin could not be pierced with either stone or metal. After traveling to Nemea, a region of the northeastern Peloponnese, Hercules followed his arrows, his sword, and his club useless, and was so forced to enrage the lion in hand to hand to paw combat. There we go. Him and the lion. There, fighting the lion. Ooh, we have a big hurrah for that. Anyway, couldn't be okay. Hercules found his arrows, his swords, his clubs useful, so he forced engaged the lion to hand-to-paw combat. After stealing off one entrance to the lion's two mouthed calves, Hercules entered the other unarmed. He wrestled the beast to the ground, wrapped his mighty arms around it, and squeezed the lion until it choked to death. Using the lion's own claws to cut off its skin, Hercules fashioned a cloak from its invulnerable hide and a helmet from its head, returning triumphantly to Tyrannus. So he so frightened the Athenians that with this outfit that the king ordered him to leave all future trophies outside the city gates. Eurystheus then had a large bronze jar forged and buried in the earth. Thereafter, whenever Hercules approached from one of his labors, the cowardly Athenians hid in this jar and had a messenger relay his next orders to the hero. Well, they were pretty cowardly, being not afraid of a lion skin. The Athenians directed Hercules to kill the Lemnian Hydra, the water snake. Ooh. In his second labor, the child of the monsters, Typhon and Xenia, whom Andromedorus credits with begetting the Sphinx and the Nemean lion as well. The Hydra had a huge dog-like body and many serpentine heads, and some say a few as 7, others claim 10,000, one of which was immortal. The beast was so deadly that even its breath was poisonous. And there you go, Hercules and the snake beast. Who would think? Anyway. Okay. Hercules arrived quickly in Lerna, a coastal town just south of Argos. The hero began his labor with a straightforward attack, holding his breath and hacking off the Hydra's heads with his sword or crushing them with his club. His attack only made the monster more deadly, for when one head was chopped off or crushed, 2 more grew in its place. Hercules ultimately defeated the beast by calling on his friend and charioteer Lordorus, the son of the hero's half-brother, Epicles, to burn each new wound with burning branches. This checked the flow of blood and prevented the growing of a new head. Hercules then slew the beast by chopping off its immortal head and burying the still hissing head under a rock. Before returning to Tynerius, Hercules dripped his arrows in the poisonous blood of the Hydra. Thereafter, anyone wounded with one of these arrows would die. Though Hercules had defeated the Hydra, Eurystheus refused to credit him with accomplishing this labor, since he had relied on the help of Alotius to complete it. Well, no fooling, you cheated, right? Eurystheus next commanded Hercules to capture the Emmerian boar. The savage beast haunted Arcadia in central Philippopolis, near Mount Erymanus, a mountain sacred to Artemis. On his way to Arcadia, Hercules attempted the hospitality of a centaur named Philosopherus. Anyway, I wonder if I got a picture of that. There's a centaur On his way to the centaur named Philosopher. When Philosopher offered the centaur's communicable wine to his guests, the other centaurs smelled the strong wine and went mad. Hercules killed many of the attacking centaurs and drove the rest to a new home on Mount Melana, where their king Chirilion lived. One of Hercules' arrows, however, passed through his intended victim and struck his old friend, the teacher, Chirilion. Though Chirilion was immortal, the poisoned arrow brought so much pain that the king of the centaurs wished he were dead. The Titan Prometheus later assumed the burden of Chirion's immortality so that the centaur could go to Hades. The poisonous arrows of Hercules quickly claimed another of his friends as a victim. His kindly host, Philosopherus, was examined these arrows when he dropped one of them on his foot and died instantly. Returning to his third labor, Hercules once again set out for Mount Eremonius. There he trapped the victorious boar in a deep snow, captured it with chains, and brought it back alive. There's the boar picture. Nope, nope, nope. There's the boar. And he brought it back alive. And see, there's the Athenian hiding in the pot. His fourth labor, Hercules was ordered to capture a centurion hind and bring it back alive to Eurypylus, a wonderful deer and with golden antlers and brass hoofs. His hinds roam the hills of Cilion between Arcadia and Athenia. The central, because of the hind was sacred to Armenius, the goddess of hunting, Hercules hoped to capture it unharmed. Hercules pursued the deer for a full year, then either netted the beast or seized it while in sleep. While returning to Tinius with the deer on his shoulders, Hercules met Artemis and Apollo. Artemis chastised Hercules, but let him pass, and her sacred deer when he insisted that it was not he, but the man who had ordered him to complete the task, Eurystheus, who bore the blame of this insult. I wonder if we got one with the deer. Nope, the hellhounds. Nah, that's a snake. Maybe that's a deer. Nope, that don't look like a deer, does it? Maybe that's a deer. Nope, 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 nope. We're looking for the deer. Nope. Hellhounds? Nope. Nope, nope, and nope. We don't have a no deer. Sorry, people. No deer for you. That's a hydra. That's the hellhounds. There's the woman. That might be the deer one. Let's go with that one. Okay. Even more beastly chores. The second of the four labors, Hercules once again returned to Tyrrhenus. A fifth labor. Hercules took a sabbatical from his labors to join Jason on his quest for the Golden Fleece. Although the Argonauts asked him to be their captain, Hercules properly deferred to Jason. Hercules quit the voyage long before, however, when the Argo, Jason's ship, stopped in Mysia on the northwestern coast of Asia Minor. Nymphs of the spring faltered when Hercules' squire and lover Hylas dragged the boy down from the water while Hercules searched in vain for Hylas. The Argo left without him. We ain't get nowhere. Hercules once again returned. Oh, this is the beastly chores. The fifth labor of Eurystheus assigned to Hercules was to rid Lake Symphophilus of Arcadia of its vast flocks of man-eating Birds. The crane-sized Salopian birds had claws, beaks, and wings of bronze. The vulturous birds killed both men and beasts by showering them with their bronze feathers and their poisonous excrement. Do we have a bird one? Nope. No birds. That's a boar. Maybe this is bird. Birdman. He went to war. That's the war one. Looks like Hercules was big. He was a big guy. Lots of muscles. With the assistance of Athena, who let him a pair of bronze castanets forged by Helipius, Hercules drove the birds far away from Arcadia. The noise of the clattering castanets frightened the birds, who flew as one into the air. Hercules then shot a great many of them, while the others quickly fled the scene. Perhaps to humiliate Hercules, Eurystheus assigned as his sixth labor the noxious task of cleaning the stables of Argunius, king of Elis. The stables which housed thousands of heads of cattle had not been cleaned in 30 years. The dung from these beasts had created a pestilence and made the pastures of Philopoeus infertile. Hercules agreed to clean all the dung from off the land in a single day, but the first he arranged with Agulius for payment of 1/10 of his herds for doing the dirty job. He completed the task without soiling himself a bit by diverting a course of 2 rivers. He diverted the rivers and just washed it out, didn't he? Thubilius and Plinius to wash away the fifth of nearly 100,000 cattle years. The rivers not only swept away the dung from Thusian stables, but cleaning the outlying pastures as well. Unfortunately, Hercules found himself in double blind. Aglunius refused to pay what he had promised, insisting that Hercules already had a duty to perform, this labor for Eurystheus. To make matters worse, Eurystheus refused to credit Hercules for this labor, contending that he had done it as a job for hire. Wow. You get double boned that way. Okay, perhaps tiring of how quickly Hercules had accomplished his first 6 labors, all of which had been confined to the Philosius, and Eurystheus beginning assigning him tasks that would send him far away from Tyrannus. The 7th labor sent Hercules to Crete to capture the Cretan bull, the father of the Minotaur, by Flavius, wife of King Minos. A beautiful yet terrifying beast, the Cretan bull spit flames and was ravaging the crops and orchards of Crete. Hercules captured the beast. After a lengthy struggle, he brought it all the way back across the sea to Tyrannus. After allowing Eurystheus to see it, Hercules then set the magnificent beast free. The beast roamed to Marathon, when Theseus later captured it and sacrificed it to Athena. Eurystheus next sent Hercules to Thrace to capture the 4 man-eating mares of King Diopolis, son of Ares. Diopolis fed his savage mares the living human flesh of his native guests. On his way to Thrace, the Hercules joined the hospitality of the Median king of Pharisees. Oh, is this the one? Is this the hellhounds that he was talking about? No. There we go. Those look like some badass beasts. The perfect host, Arminius entertained his guests while hiding the fact that he was in mourning for his wife, Alcestis. When Hercules discovered his host's secret, he rushed to Alcestis' tomb and attacked Thanatos before he could carry her off, Mr. Death. So Hercules attacked Death and drove him away, rescuing his wife. After rescuing Alcestis, Hercules continued on to Thrace. There he stole the horses and drove them down to the sea, where Diomedes and his subjects pursued him. Hercules drove the bulk of them away, clubbed Diomedes, and fed him to his own horses. Hercules then harnessed the mares, which he had never before been tamed, to Diomedes' chariot and drove them all the way back to Tineus. Eurypylus consecrated the beast to Hera and sent them free to roam on Mount Olympus. Wild beasts eventually tore the mares to pieces. So there you go. Got wild beasts and wild beasts tearing into them. Far corners of the earth. For his 9th labor. Wow, he's done a lot of labors. I wonder why. This is like a big punishment almost. Anyway, for his 9th labor, Hercules was dispatched even farther northeast to Thrace. He set sail for the Theban River, which flowed through the northeast Asia Minor and emptied into the Black Sea. Eurystheus sent him there to obtain the golden griddle, a belt used to carry a sword, worn by Hippolyta, queen of the Amazons. Wow, an Amazon queen, of course. After meeting with Hercules, Hippolyta seemed more than willing to give him the girdle, perhaps as a love token. By Hera appeared in the cuisine of the Amazon and warned the others that Hercules planned to abduct their queen. When the women warriors attacked the ship, Hercules, thinking Hippolyta had betrayed him, killed her and took the girdle. He and his handful of companions then defeated the Amazon armies and headed back home with the prize. On his return voyage, Hercules stopped in Troy, where he found King Laomedon's daughter, Hereinafter, naked and chained to a rock. After offering intended to appease a sea monster and had ravaged the kingdom, after agreeing on a price for the rescuing of Hereinafter, her hand in marriage, and some magnificent mares that Zeus had given to Laomedon, Hercules leaped into the belly of the beast and after 3 days vanquished the monster. When Laomedon refused to honor his agreement, Hercules left but vowed vengeance. Oh boy, you don't want to get on Hercules' bad side. He's tough. Look at him. Look at that guy. He's tough. He'll conquer anybody. He's the man. Anyway, so Hercules sitting on his throne. Who doesn't like that? Okay, although, where are we? After Eurystheus presented the girdle to his daughter Alcmene, he sent Hercules to Spain, where the hero was directed to fetch the cattle of Brighteon. Brighteon, another monster, had 3 upper bodies. Brighteon owned a herd of beautiful red cattle, kept under the watchful eyes of Euryton, the son of Ares, and the 2-headed dog Orthyreus, yet another monstrous child of Typhon and Isuliad. When Hercules reached the Strait of Gibraltar, he erected pillars on both sides, one in Europe, one in Africa, to mark the great distance he had traveled. Those pillars, still standing, are today called the Rock of Gibraltar, or Mount Capel, and Morocco's Jebel Masuda, or Mount Abiala, whatever. Although both Ormenius and Eurytion attacked him as he approached the herds of cattle, Hercules killed both of them with his club. As he drove the cattle towards the ship, an enormous golden cup that Helenus had lent him, Brighteon tried to stop him too, but Hercules shot a single arrow through all 3 of his bodies and made off with the herds, because he's got those big strong arrows, Hampered in his travels by the cattle, Hercules endured a long return trip to Tineus in Liguria. Hercules killed 2 thieves who tried to steal the cattle. To avenge these deaths, The Ligurians mounted an attack so numerous that Hercules ran out of arrows and left defenseless, was wounded by, but oh my gosh, Hercules was wounded, but Zeus sent a shower of stones and Hercules used them to defend himself and forced the Ligurians to retreat. Soon after, Hercules arrived at the site of the future city of Rome. Though it was nothing but wilderness then, while Hercules slept in a cave dwelling, a three-headed giant named Catacus, a son of Hephaestus and Medusa, stole some of Greedigon's cattle. Undaunted by the flames spewing from the giant's mouth, Hercules entered his cave and the next morning and killed the giant with his bare hands. Hercules thanked the god for his victory over Cacus by sacrificing some of the cattle on an altar that the Romans would later call the Maxima, or the greatest altar. In Roman times, this altar stood in the middle of a great city not far from the Forum. Several days later, Brighteon's finest bull broke away from the herd and swam from Italy to Sicily. Hercules pursued the beast and found it mingled among the herds of Eryx, a formidable boxer and wrestler. Eryx, who killed those he outfought, challenged Hercules to a match, wagering his island kingdom against the herd of cattle. Hercules killed Eryx by smashing him to the ground during their wrestling match. After turning over the cattle to Eurystheus, Hercules had already completed 10 labors, but denied credit for the second and the fifth labor. He still had 2 more chores to perform. Eurystheus sent him to the westernmost part of the world, the Garden of Heracles, where he was to obtain 3 golden apples from the tree that Gaia had given her granddaughters Hera on Hera's wedding day. The golden fruited tree was tended by nymphs known as Hermaphrodites and guarded by a vicious 100-headed dragon, Brighteon, that monstrous offspring of the Typhon and the Cydia. Over the garden towered the Titan Atlas, who bore the heavy burden of holding up the sky. Hercules first had to find the garden. He seized the sea god Nereus, an oracle, and forced him to reveal the location of the garden and how he might obtain the golden apples. Nereus urged Hercules to talk Atlas into plucking the fruit for him. So when Hercules arrived at Mount Atlas, he offered to relieve Atlas in return for his small favor. After Hercules shot an arrow over the garden walls and killed Brighteon, Atlas eagerly accepted his chance to unload his burden. When Atlas returned with the apples, however, he seemed most unwilling to resume his responsibility. Instead, he offered to take the apples to Eurystheus himself. Hercules agreed that this was a fine plan, but complained that his head ached under the weight of the heavens. He asked Atlas to hold up the sky for just a minute longer so that Hercules might place a cushion of some kind on his head. The gullible Titan agreed, but as soon as Atlas had the sky back on his shoulders, Hercules picked up the apples and walked off. Wow, what a slick guy. That's the way to play the trick. Again, Hercules had many adventures on his way home. In Libya, he met a giant named Antilochus, the son of Gaia and Poseidon, who liked to wrestle his guests to exhaustion and then kill them. As he fought, Hercules realized that every time Antilochus was thrown to the ground, he grew stronger as his mother Earth restored and revitalized him. Hercules therefore held the giant high in the air and crushed him to death in his arms. Arriving to the Caucasus Mountains, Hercules found that the Titan Prometheus, who had been chained to a cliff for 30,000 years, Hercules shot and killed the eagle that had daily feasted on Prometheus's liver. He then arranged for the wounded centurion Cheiron who begged for escape from the pain caused by the Hydra's poison to take the Titan's place in the underworld and freed Prometheus from his chains. Wow, Hercules did it all, didn't he? Let's see, we got a new picture? Yeah. Was this Hercules? He's fighting the bull. Look at there, he's fighting the bull. There he's doing something else. Anyway, okay. When Hercules finally presented the golden apples to Eurystheus, the king immediately handed the fruit back to him. Since the sacred fruit belonged to Hera, they could not remain out of the garden. Hercules therefore turned them over to Athena, who returned the apples to Herpetides. Hercules had one more labor left, but Eurystheus had saved the most dangerous task for last, bringing Cerberus, the three-headed guard dog of Hades, up from the underworld, while in the underworld Hercules freed his friend Theseus from the chair of forgetfulness. I didn't even know there was a chair of forgetfulness. He also freed Calpulus, the gardener of Hades, who had told of seeing Prespitone eat the pomegranate seeds, and was imprisoned under a rock by Demeter. When he told her Hades why he had come, the god of the underworld gave Hercules leave to take Cerberus, provided he used no weapon to do so. By wrapping his mighty hands around the hellhounds' throats, Hercules subdued Cerberus and dragged him the beast to Eurystheus. The king quickly told him to return the monster to Hades. With this, Hercules completed his service to Eurystheus and ensured his own immortality. And this is him getting the dogs, wrapped his mighty arms around them. There he is. Do we have any other ones of that? I thought we did. Nope. Sorry, people. That's the only one of the hellhounds? I thought I had another one of the hellhounds. There's with the hellhounds. Okay. Love and death. Freed from his obligations to Eurystheus, Hercules set out to win a new bride. He defeated his former teacher, Eurystheus, in an archery contest for the hand of his daughter, Isotol, but Eurystheus, perhaps recalling the madness of Hercules' youth, refused to honor the wager. When Eurystheus' son, Epiphius, later suspected Hercules of stealing his father's cattle. To avenge this insult, the enraged Hercules threw the young man from the tower to his death. Tormented with bad dreams, Hercules sought guidance from the oracle of Delphi. When the Pythias refused to speak to him, Pythilia, whatever her name is. Well, let's call her Jane. Hercules threatened to raise Delphi and establish his own oracle. Apollo himself came down from Olympus to defend his oracle, and engaging in a fierce battle with Hercules. Yet Zeus threw a thunderbolt between his sons and restored order and civility. Oh, Lilia, have you seen Lydia? The oracle advised Hercules to sell himself into slavery for a year and turn the proceeds over to their heirs of Epiphius, queen of Ompalia, and Lydia, the land of the western Asia Minor. Though unaware of Hercules' identity, recognized his worth and quickly purchased him. While faithfully serving Ompalia for 1 year, or perhaps 3, Hercules rid the country of bandits who preyed on its people. He also killed a huge serpent that had been destroying the citizens of Crops. It pleased Ompalia, according to some accounts, to have her hulking slave wear feminine clothes. Hercules spun threads and did other women's work. The sight of this massive hero in drag did not deter Ompalia, who soon bought her slaves, who fathered several children by her, into her bed. After finally discovering who he was in her service, Ophelia released Hercules and allowed him to return to Tyrrhenus. Vengeance is mine. Hercules set out to avenge himself on King Laomedon of Troy, who had engaged on a reward promised of his saving his daughter. Oh, remember when he went to the thing and he killed the beast? And then the guy said, "No, you can't have my daughter. Tough luck, get out of here." Hercules led a small army that easily conquered Troy. He killed Laomedon and all but one of his sons. The hero's most valiant ally had actually been the first to enter the city in the attack on Troy. Enraged by his breach of protocol, Hercules almost killed Timelion, but the warrior saved himself by quickly building an altar to Hercules in honor of his victory. Hercules rewarded Timelion for his loyalty with the hand of Heracles. When Hercules left Troy, Hera summoned a storm that blew his ships far off course. Zeus, furious at her constant persecution of his heroic son, hung Hera to the rafters by her wrists and attached anvils to her ankles. And then he led Hercules back to Argos. Before Hercules had embarked on another adventure, a band of giants attacked Mount Olympus. Hera grimly prophesied that no god could defeat these giants. The only one who could kill them was a lion-skinned mortal. Zeus quickly sent Athena to summon Hercules to the battlefield of Pellagra. Hercules, outfitted with the Nemean lion's hide, single-handedly killed 2 giants and dealt with the death blows to all the other giants, subdued by the gods. For more detail, having helped his father to victory in the gods' war against the giants, Hercules resumed his quest for vengeance against those who had wronged him. He next marched on to Elis, where the king Argulius had refused to pay him for a cleaning of his stables. But Argulius had expected this attack, and his army defeated Hercules, who was weakened by illness. So Hercules could get sick. Oh my goodness. There's that's a giant hydra. So now this is where he's fighting. But he was sickened. How did he get sick? I didn't know Hercules could get sick. And his allies. Among those killed was Hercules' half-brother Epicles. Soon after suffering this rare defeat, Hercules mounted a second attack on Elis. This time he emerged victorious. King Argulius and his sons he killed him. Fatal attraction, Deliria. Hercules finally settled in Chalcedon in central Greece, where he began courting Deuteria, the daughter, or courting. He was courting the guy's daughter, a king Othnius, and his wife Athenia. After truth be told, Dionysus was actually the beautiful Diantarnes' father. Hercules' only rival for her hand was the river god Archelidius. Archelidius appeared sometimes in the form of a bull, sometimes in a serpent, and sometimes a man with a head of a bull. Kind of a minotaur thing, going on. Hercules and Archelius began wrestling for Dimeria. Archelius escaped one hold by turning into a serpent. When Hercules grabbed him by the throat, Archelius changed into a bull and charged, but Hercules grabbed the bull by the horns, breaking one of them off, and he threw Archelius to the ground again. The river god slunk away in defeat. 3 years after Hercules married Deuteria, the couple set out on Tactilius, 80 miles northeast of Cladon. There they reached the river Eventius. Nissus, a centaur who ferried travelers across the river for a small fee, offered to carry Deliria. Hercules agreed to hire the centaur and began swimming across the river. But instead of following him, Nerterius carried off Deuteria and tried to rape her. Hearing his wife's screams, Hercules quickly let fly a poison arrow that killed the centaur. That's right, don't mess with Hercules. Before he died, however, Nerterius finagled remorse. He gave Deuteria his blood-stained shirt claiming it would serve as a love charm to ensure her husband's fidelity. Deliria, who no doubt knew Hercules' reputation, accepted the tunic and stowed it away. After settling in Tachus, Hercules set out on his final adventure, seeking vengeance against Eurystheus for refusing to yield his daughter Ilo after their archery contest. Arriving in Ocelia, Hercules easily defeated King Eurystheus and his sons, captured Itol, tried to commit suicide but failed, and Hercules sent her to Tactarius. To honor Zeus for securing victory in this final battle, Hercules began building an altar and preparing a sacrifice of bulls. He sent his messenger Lacchus back to Tactarius for a shirt more suitable for the occasion. Native Deuteria, jealous of the newly arrived Isol, sent the shirt smeared with the Minotaur's blood, hoping to win back his love. As soon as Hercules put on the shirt, the Hydra's venom that had poisoned Nautilus's blood began eating away at his skin. He tore the shirt from his body, but the flesh came off with it. Tormented, Hercules hurled Lactitius into the sea, where she turned to stone. Upon learning what she had done, Bacteria killed herself. Though withering with pain, Hercules told his son, Hylileus, to carry him to the top of Mount Oreida. He then instructed his son to build a funeral pyre and burn him alive. When the time came to light the fire, however, neither Hylileus nor any of his companions could do it. At last, the shepherd ordered his son, Picterites, to light the pyre as Hercules had asked. In gratitude, Hercules presented the boy with his bow and his poisoned arrows that had led to his destruction. The fire burned away the hero's mortality while releasing the immortal part of him. Hercules ascended to Olympus, where his father warmly welcomed him. Even Hera at last reconciled with Hercules, allowing him to marry her daughter, Hebe, and regarding him thereafter as her own son. Well, there you go, the life and death of Hercules. Wow, that was a long one, but I am sure that you guys really enjoyed it. And the labor is Hercules, god of heroes and divine protector of mankind. And yet he lives on Mount Olympus. So was he real or was he just a fake? Was he a myth, a legend? You be the judge of that. Well, I'm glad you stayed with me for this whole broadcast. Remember, Sunday night, I will be on Nina the Mystic, Sunday Live. We're going to be doing more of science, spiritual science. It's on the tip of my tongue. But thank you all for coming. It's been a great night. I appreciate each and every one of you. Go out and do something nice for somebody, because that's what it's all about. Be the frequency you want to receive, everyone. I love you all. Peace, everybody.